and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N, data-analyzing robot for the ruthless extermination of noobs.
Coming up on the show, it's a barrage of Batmans as we go beyond Gotham in LEGO Batman 3.
Batman.
I've got the whole wide world in my hands!
Joker, shut up.
To go with the bats, we've also got birds. Angry Birds Transformers. Gotta be careful of those Deceptihogs.
The swine? Well, power up those neural pathways. It's time for a D.A.R.R.E.N's challenge. This week, I'm asking you this. Which Nintendo game features Princess Peach as the main playable character?
Oh, I totally know this one, Darren, but I'll tell you later.
All right, well, news time then.
Affirmative.
Thanks, guys. Goose here with news from out of this world. In an effort to match the feats of Kerbal Space Program's finest, the European Space Agency has landed a probe on a comet. In 2004, the ESA sent a space probe named Rosetta on a 6.4 billion kilometre journey. Its destination, a comet identified as 67P. After a 10-year journey, Rosetta and its lander Philae have reached their destination. Philae touched down on 67P on the 12th of November and began transmitting data and images back to Earth. However, the lander's trip was not without complications. A bumpy landing and power outage have raised concerns about how long Philae will survive and continue to transmit data. In spite of these mishaps, the agency has achieved a spectacular feat. They have assured the public that the information Philae and Rosetta have already amassed is enough to consider the operation a great success. Bravo, team! Perhaps one day humanity will make it as far into deep space as D.A.R.R.E.N has. And that's it for this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. Say, Darren, are you friends with the Transformers?
Oh, they're a very exclusive club now, Bajo. If you can't transform, you're not invited.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it too much, Darren. I mean, if the new Angry Birds Transformers mashup is anything to go by, those robots in disguise might want to stay in hiding.
Oh, sweet burn. When the first Angry Birds came out in 2009, it was quickly a huge hit. And that was partly because it was a fun and smart game that was well priced for the amount of gameplay that you got out of it.
Since then, there have been various Angry Birds crossovers, like Star Wars and the animated film Rio.
Yeah, and when I heard they were adding a layer of Autobots and Decepticons to the birds and piggies, I thought that was a great idea. The game is free, but what I wasn't expecting was such a big push towards microtransactions.
Now, I'm a big fan of Optimus Prime and the gang. And I think the developers are too, as there's lots of fun animations and jokes that I think Transformers fans will get a kick out of. But that excitement quickly wore off when I saw how much waiting you have to do in between all of the levels unless you want to spend real-life money on the game.
Well, we should talk about those levels, Bajo. No longer do you fling your birds across the screen to destroy those pesky piggy constructions. Now your auto bird runs and shoots their way through each environment, much like a side-scrolling shooter. Your enemies are the Deceptihogs.
Successfully completing each run rewards you with coins, gems, and bruised piggies, which you can use to unlock upgrades, but more importantly, they can speed up the construction of new levels to play.
But like I said, you guys, it's those hours of waiting for levels to unlock that really holds this game back. For example, after only an hour or so of playing, I had to put the pad down and wait for quite some time before I was allowed to play again.
When you do get to play, it can be fun, and I did like the physics of the explosions when you hit some TNT. Seeing blocks made up of stone, wood, and glass crumble down is pretty satisfying.
It was good to see all the familiar faces, complete with an Angry Birds redesign. Bumblebee, Soundwave, and Heatwave are all fun, but while they do move a little differently, they don't really have any individual personality or gameplay styles.
This just reeks of a cash-in to me, you guys, and the worst part is you don't actually have to use your brain, it's just mindless tapping, so I'm giving it 4 out of 10.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like a bad game in disguise, Bajo. It may look shiny and smooth, but underneath it's just not fun and it pushes you to spend money. I'm giving it 3 rubber chickens.
At least the game does have some pretty good sound effects. Have you ever wondered how game devs make all those blasts, bleeps, and booms?
Well, actually, Darren, we found someone who makes video game sound effects as their job.
Well, roll the tape, Kerry.
Hi, I'm Greg Hill. I do audio for racing games. In the 90s, I was playing a few computer games because computers were getting quite powerful by then, and I was very disappointed by the way they sounded. So I basically taught myself how to hack into those games and modify the sounds or change the sounds completely with my own recordings to see if I could improve it. To get those sounds, I would contact people that I knew with really nice sounding cars, getting whatever car I could from the guy down the road, his car or whatever, and recording that. And then I had to learn how to record it, then I had to learn how to edit that sound, and then I had to learn how to implement that into a game. After modding a few games and getting a little bit of notoriety, I contacted a few developers directly. And I said, look, hey, I think I can improve the way your vehicles sound in your games. And they said, well, send us something. So I sent it to them. And they got back to me pretty swiftly saying, this is really good. How did you do that? And how much do you charge? The big titles that I've worked on since then are Need for Speed, Shift, Hot Pursuit, and I've worked with iRacing on simulators. The biggest breakthrough game for me was GTR with Simbin and GTR 2. I've had a few studios call me up and ask me if I've recorded particular cars, and I have vast libraries now of lots of different vehicles that I've recorded over the years. Skywalker Sound, who were working on Cars 2 at the time, they asked me if I had any high revving engines, and I said, of course I have. And also the movie Rush, the Ron Howard film. So I've learned which microphones, the placement of the microphones, and which part of the car actually makes the noise. People just think it's the exhaust pipe, but under that bonnet, under the hood, that intake sound is almost as loud and almost as important as the exhaust sound itself. And for external sounds, not just the exhaust, but the sound coming back off the road is the sound that we hear when a car goes past. It is vitally important to get that residual sound of the engine coming back off the road. That's the one we all like to hear. Once I've done the recording, I have to do some post-production. I upload the recording, I then chop it up into the bits that I need in preparation for me to make a sonic model. When it comes to racing games, I really enjoy the ones that I work on, but ones that really stand out to me as breaking ground was probably GT-R. We fully modelled transmission-wise. The threshold of tyres as they broke loose, from peeling to completely riding up on the sidewalls and squealing away. We had randomised backfires and a whole lot of technology there. It just was pretty amazing for that time. To do this for a living, you have to be a really good communicator. Join networks, become a modder. There's plenty of information up there. There might be your favourite game. It could be a first-person shooter. It doesn't have to be a racing game. Other modders are replacing whole levels of sound, and you could do the same. Just learn from them. And yeah, eventually, over time, you'll be creating some cool sounds.
Thanks, Greg. That was super interesting, guys. I reckon I'd be really good at doing sound effects. This is my horse. Ready? No!
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. I can do a pretty good dolphin.
Oh, yeah?
That's uncanny.
Wow.
Thanks.
Oh, I can do dubstep.
Do it.
Wob, wob, wob,
Dat
wob.
bass.
Drop the bass.
Oh, it's time for our spawn point. Off you go.
Oh.
Horse.
Spawnlings need your help.
Okay, well, time to get these questions some answers. And first, cab off the rank this week, we have this one from Molly, who is in Port Hughes, South Australia. I have already asked this, but you have not replied, so I will ask again. On Minecraft, how do you get a cat on Xbox 360? And when will Goose show a new game on Scratch? Please answer.
Well, Molly, those cats can be tricky creatures to wrangle, but we can definitely give you some tips. So first things first, you need to get yourself a few pieces of raw fish, so make yourself a fishing rod and get fishing.
Once you have a decent supply of fish, then you'll need to find an ocelot. They usually only spawn in jungle biomes.
When you find one, get within 10 blocks of it, but not too close or else it will just run away. Then equip a piece of raw fish in your hands and crouch. Now with the fish equipped, it should slowly come towards you. Make sure you let it come to you because any sudden movements will just scare them away.
Once it's next to you, then feed it the fish. If you're lucky, you'll now have a nice tamed kitty friend, but there is a 2 out of 3 chance that you'll fail at taming it.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to have a few pieces of fish, so if it doesn't work the first time, you can just keep feeding it until you are successful.
As for when Goose will be doing a new game on Scratch, well, I don't think he has another one planned at the moment, but I'm sure he'd like to do another one at some point, so maybe we'll just ask him nicely for you to do one. All right, well, let's move on to this one from Sheepy, who was on the island base in Tasmania.
Hi, GGSP. I have 2 basic questions. 1, what is Amiibo about? 2, this one is for Darren. If you were in Super Smash Bros., what would your final smash be? What? P.S. Since I am the Smiley Master, I have the ultimate challenge for you. Behold, Cat Smiley! Hold the puppers! The puppers! Hold the buckassies!
Well, Sheepy, Amiibo is basically just the name for Nintendo's version of figurines that are like the Skylanders or Disney Infinity toys. So they're just toys that can interact with games.
Yes, although unlike Skylanders or Disney Infinity, where you actually need the toys to play the games, Amiibos are more of an optional accessory. So the first bunch of Amiibos are designed to work specifically for the new Super Smash Bros. Game, but you'll still be able to play it if you don't have them.
And they'll also work with some other games too, in a limited way. So a Mario Amiibo for Smash Brothers will have lots of special features that only Smash Brothers will be able to use. But it could also be used to unlock extra costumes in Mario Kart, for example.
I am worried, Hex, that they may be just a little bit pointless, but they do look like cool figurines at least, and being able to use a cool-looking toy in a game is never a bad thing. But as for what Darren's final smash would be, let's find out. Let's call him on the old ring-a-ling-a-ling-ding-dong. It's a telephone.
It's called a telephone.
Hello.
Hey, it's Bajo. How are you, Darren?
And it's also
Bajo.
Hex.
Hello.
Hex is here too.
Hello, Hex.
Hey, if you were a Smash Brothers character, what would your final smash move be? Go!
Well, it'd have to be a wave of giant laser blasts from my infamous noob-destroying laser! Charging my laser!
Of course you would charge your laser. Well, while you're on the line, Darren, this next question specifically asks for you to read it out.
Oh, excellent. Just let me tap into the email mainframe. Here it is. And it's from Ethan in Narry Warren South, Victoria. Hey guys, Cork Sunfire here. I want Darren to read this question. In Minecraft, how can I make a beacon? And could you please do a review of Star Trek Online? Darren is the great, and Bajo is okay, and Hex is okay. Goose is great too. Also, I want Bajo and Hex to drink out of the noob cup, or I will take over Good Game SP. Oh, lol. Why, thank you, Ethan. I am pretty great, aren't I? As for your question, well, making beacons is quite a tricky process, since you'll need a nether star to make one. And to get a nether star, you need to summon and defeat the Wither, which is no easy task.
Those withers are tough. I summoned one once and it just destroyed me instantly.
Affirmative. They're extremely hard to defeat. Even just summoning one is a big task, as you'll first need to get 3 Wither skeleton heads. This is especially hard since Wither skeletons only spawn in nether fortresses, and only have about 1 in 50 chance of dropping a Wither skull when you kill them. But once you have your skulls, then just place 4 blocks of soul sand in a T-shape like so, and put a skull on each of those blocks, and that will summon the Wither.
So, Darren, is there any easy way of beating the Wither?
Negative. There are a range of guides and techniques available, however, but I wouldn't describe any of them as easy. However, let's just assume you've managed to best it and have earned yourself a nether star. To make it into a beacon, you'll just need to combine it with 5 blocks of glass and 3 blocks of obsidian, like so.
So what does a beacon actually do, Darren?
Well, a beacon can be used as a prominent landmark as it shoots a beam of light high into the sky, but more usefully, they can also provide various powers to any player in the nearby area. These range from increasing movement and mining speed, jump height and damage, or even providing regenerating health. But for it to work, it needs to be placed on top of a pyramid made out of mineral blocks, such as iron or diamond, and have a mineral block placed in it to activate it. The blocks the pyramids are made out of are just cosmetic though, so I'd recommend using iron and saving your rarer minerals. Also, the bigger your pyramid, the more powerful the beacon is, and the more powers you can choose from.
So if you just build like a mega huge pyramid, it'll be like mega powerful?
Well, not quite. The maximum boost to its effect caps out at only a 4-level pyramid. However, a solid 4-level pyramid still requires 164 blocks to build. And since each block is made up of 9 ingots, you'd need to collect 1,476 of that mineral to build it, which is quite a lot.
Wow, Darren, that sounds like way too much effort to go through for just a few perks.
Well, it's something to work towards, I guess. Gotta have goals.
Well, thanks for all that helpful information as always, Darren.
Oh, my pleasure. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, I don't know about you, Hex, but I have a whole new level of respect for anyone who can get a beacon legitimately. But as for if we can review Star Trek Online, well, it's almost 5 years old now. We don't usually go back and review old games.
It seems like it's still going pretty strong, though, with a few million players still captaining around the galaxy, and that's always a good indication that it's a pretty decent MMO if that many people are playing it after all that time. But I never checked it out myself. Did you play it, Bajo?
I had to go quite a few years ago now, Hex, and it's got some pretty neat ship versus ship combat and shows a lot of respect to the Star Trek series. Live long and prosper.
Oh, high five?
Oh yeah, Star Trek High Five.
That's hard to do. All right, we have time for just one more question, I think. So let's go with this one from name's Rex, T-Rex, who was in the land before time. Hi Gigi, just wanted to know if you could tell me if the game Spin Tires you reviewed a while back is on any other consoles such as Xbox 360. Another quick question is if you could do some more Minecraft and Spin Tires reviews and gameplays. Thanks Gigi. Hex, do these. Bajo, do these. Darren, do this.
Let me just get him on the phone, Hex. Darren, do this. Good job, Darren, good job. Right, well, T-Rex, sorry to say, but Spin Tires is only available for PC as a download at the moment, and from what we've heard, there doesn't seem to be any plans for it to come out on the consoles.
Yeah, and seeing as we just did a load of Minecraft stuff, well, here's some footage of us getting stuck in Spin Tires. Enjoy. On that note, we're out of time for this week, but if you've got a question you'd like to ask us, then you can go here and send it in.
Oh, it's the phone, Hex! Bajo speaking.
Bajo, Hex, you've got to come up to the office. It's time to review Lego Batman 3!
Oh, Lego Batman!
Wait for me! It's been a busy year for Lego games, hasn't it? We've been building our way through The Hobbit and the Lego Movie game, but now the Dark Knight himself is back in Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham.
Yes, I agree that 3 Lego games in 1 year is quite a lot, but if there's one person I can't get enough of, it's Batman, especially when he's in space. Come on!
Flash, close the gap after me.
Only if I can keep this stuff when we're done.
Sure, whatever.
The reason this game's set in space is that the dastardly villain Brainiac has hatched a plan to use his high-tech spaceship to miniaturize the Earth. Obviously, the Earthlings don't like the sound of this, and even the supervillains are against it. So this means bad guys like the Joker and Lex Luthor team up with Batman and the rest of the heroes to stop Brainiac.
Yes, at times this feels more like a Justice League game than a Batman one. And this is because you'll be playing as other heroes such as Wonder Woman and Superman. So naturally I was a bit sad that Batman wasn't the complete 100% focus, but the other heroes add a lot of variety.
Yeah, plus the Lego games have always been pretty amusing, but I think the larger cast really gave them a lot more funny material to work with.
What happened?
I had to save you. Again.
You mean after I saved the Earth?
Whatever.
Although the game's cast has grown impressively, I can't say the same about the gameplay. Sadly, it sticks to the old Lego formula without adding any significant new ingredients. You'll be smashing, building tools with the bricks, smash, build. Smash some more, build something else.
Yes, all the building does feel a little bit forced, doesn't it? Like this bit where they need to power up the Bat rocket. Instead of something simple like pressing the power button, Batman lasers one of the Batcave walls to pieces and builds a computer with the blocks. They then have to go inside a Tron-style hacking game to activate it.
All right, you did it!
Now these are Lego games, so obviously the building is pretty important. It's just starting to feel a bit forced into the superhero ones. But let's talk about what this game does really well.
Oh, affirmative. The different character suits now play a much bigger role. Batman, for example, can go from his regular outfit to a destruction suit that lets him fire off rockets and blow up silver blocks.
Yes, and unlike the last games where you could only change outfits at set points, now you can do so whenever you like with the flick of a button. Plus, they've worked in a lot of suits, like a sonic one to smash glass. And an ice suit that can put out fires, and even a space suit with a jetpack.
Oh, I just love jetpacks!
Me too, and the costumes add such variety as well.
I was disappointed when the game broke its own logic, though. They clearly established that Batman's ice suit can put out fires, but then I encountered these magic flames that were immune to the ice gun. Turns out they changed the rules just so the game could force you to use a shield suit to walk over the flames. Illogical!
Well, we should also touch on the villains, because we don't often get the chance to play as the baddies, so this felt quite fresh to me. There are the big bruisers like Killer Croc and Grundy. Plus, the Joker's always good for a laugh.
Let's see who's behind door number 1.
Nice one, Hex. I thought Plastic Man was pretty cool. He can morph into lots of tools. And I always chuckled whenever he did this.
There is also a hefty list of locations, from the Batcave to alien spaceships, and even a miniaturized Paris. The game never overstays its welcome in any one location.
Plus, wow, you guys, these LEGO games are seriously stepping up the graphics. We played it on PS4 and were constantly impressed with the lighting and the special effects making each set pop. But we should wrap this up. Final thoughts?
Well, I think overall, yes, this is the same formula, and that is getting a bit stale, but it's also there for a reason. It does work. And I'm glad that the new suits shifted the focus away from the combat a bit this time, because it is still quite simple. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Well, while that formula is popular, I just wish they added a little bit more depth to the gameplay to make it more challenging. Still, those cutscenes are utterly charming, and I had fun, so I'm giving it 7.5. Oh, guys, so close to the end of the show. Darren, we need the answer to your challenge.
Oh, affirmative. At the start of the show, I asked you this. Which Nintendo game features Princess Peach as the main playable character? And the answer is Super Princess Peach on the DS, released back in 2006.
Guys, I totally knew the answer to that one, but I just didn't want to spoil it for you by telling you.
Oh, well done, Bajo.
Guys, next week is our last episode of Spawn Point for the year.
Whoa! Oh, we'll have to celebrate. We'll have to have some Christmassy things and presents for me.
Oh, I could sing some carols.
Oh, yeah, it'd be really great if we had an awesome game to review as well, like the new Pokemon game.
Oh, Pika-Bee! Oh.
Well, that's gonna be epic.
Well, until next time, Spawnlings, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
Darren, you better get baking.
Oh, affirmative. What type of Christmas cake would you like?
Like a traditional fruit cake with the custard and all the sauce and
Yeah, without the fruit. Just put the fruit in a bowl next to me.